Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm playing in the Tier 8 Italian medium tank. It is the Pantera, and this is the first time this vehicle has been featured on my channel. Bizarre that, considering you know how much I love my Italian auto-reloaders, specifically at Tier 9 and Tier 10, and of course the premium Progetto 46. And I guess the reason why I didn't focus on the Pantera is because before this vehicle had already come out, I kind of had my Progetto 46 because it was going to be in the Mission Marathon, but I managed to get it for testing, and on my premium account, my main account, I have to admit, the Progetto 46 just feels like slightly the better tank. It has 10 meters extra view range, it has 1 extra degree of gun depression, it has better traverse dispersion, which makes it have even better aim time still, both when it's moving and also when the tank is turning the turret. Also, it just unloads faster. It fires every 2 seconds rather than every 2.5 seconds as you will do with the Pantera when you get the top gun. And it's really until I managed to actually get this vehicle on my Plays for Free account that I realized that, well, it's probably not quite as competitive as the premium tank. It's still an absolutely monster vehicle for anybody to be able to get without having to invest money into the game. Now the Pantera has this amazing auto-reloading capacity, just like you would have in the Progetto 46, which means that you reload the shells one by one, and so you can put yourself in control of the situation by weakening your opponents and try and get them low enough to a stage where then you can go in maybe for the kill and unload all 3 of its shells. Now, as I mentioned, it takes 2.5 seconds to be able to unload each of these shells, so within 5 seconds you can do 720 damage to your opponents. And one of the great things about the Pantera that I didn't realize is that the shell velocity on the standard rounds is actually better than that of the Progetto 46. But funnily enough, when you fire premium rounds with the Progetto 46, the shell velocity goes back in the favor of the premium tank. But of course, considering how very seldomly I fire premium rounds with this vehicle on my Plays for Free account, that doesn't really matter. So I've been finding this tank absolutely wonderful, and I have to admit, the first time that I ever played the frontline game mode on my Plays for Free account, I took out the Pantera and I'd managed to get the EBR, the Tier 8 Premium French wheeled light tank, which I got through my first Mission Marathon, as you all know if you were following me on Twitch at that point. And I managed to smash out a general in my first game, as I highlighted on YouTube. And so really, the Pantera, even if you can't get your hands on the EBR, well, I guess you can't anymore because the Mission Marathon is over, this vehicle is still absolutely monstrously powerful inside the frontline game mode. And lots of people are talking about frontline at the moment, especially now that it's starting to get to the stage where the rewards for the frontline are becoming available. I think in May, or maybe it's June, you'll actually be able to get the Tier 8 Swedish autoloading heavy tank. And if any of you have seen me playing on the 1.5 test server, you'll know just how monstrous it's looking like the Kranvang or even the Mill 2 is going to be at Tier 9. So managing to get yourself a Swedish autoloading heavy tank, if you manage to complete, I guess, 6 out of 10 of the frontline stages, it's going to be pretty monstrous if you can do without getting the random Tier 9 that Wargaming are going to be giving us. And oh dear, the Pantera on the enemy team had an absolute mare there, shooting me in the tracks, exposing himself, and we managed to put all 3 rounds in, finishing him off and keeping ourselves pretty. And that was just a real crunch moment for this game. There are some engagements in World of Tanks, especially in the matchmaking that we have now and with the 3-tier spread, where when those top tier tanks collide, that it's going to be decided on who wins the outcome. Because from now on, at least I've put my team back in the even state of having 2 top tier tanks versus the rest. Even though we're down a vehicle, I'm hoping that we can manage to bring this one back into my team's favor. And now that I don't have to worry about the auto reloader on the enemy team, I can hopefully try and poach the cupola of the IS. And while this vehicle doesn't have 9 degrees of gun depression like you have with the Progetto 46, it's still no slouch on a ridgeline with 8 degrees of gun depression. Okay, I heard the IS fire. While there's a bunch of tanks behind, I need to press my advantage right now. And if I get hit from the back, hopefully I won't, because I use my momentum to drive forwards, and I actually managed to dodge the Su-130 PM and block a tiny little round from an 88. I guess that vehicle is undergunned. Although, to be honest, I don't even know what the main gun is on the 88. I've still got flashbacks of using that, what is it, the 32 pounder on the Conqueror game carrier, as people like to be calling it, right? Oh man, one of the most horrible tanks. And it's funny enough, I had my best game in that vehicle on this very map as well. Alright, this KV2 looks like he doesn't quite know where he's going. Is he still thinking I'm above him? The 88 actually manages to take my ammo rack there. but with a quick dab of the 4 and the 2, we managed to get it back into effect. Not that it really affects much when you're unloading. This vehicle, just like a regular autoload, it doesn't matter if you are ammo-racked while you're unloading, it only matters if you're ammo-racked while you're reloading, which is quite often why I'm going to hold the repair kit on those tanks until I need to repair maybe possibly my tracks, or if maybe my gun was to be taken out and I really had to get those shells in more accurately, and then I had 90 seconds of downtime to maybe repair my ammo rack later on. Alright, so this 88, I'm just trying to find out where I'm going to be able to pen him. We're using the reticle, which goes green, to be able to try and find weak points on that vehicle, because I'll be honest, I don't really have an extensive knowledge of the 88's armor layout. So we're able to hit the weak point on top. I know all about that from the 87. I played the 87 a hell of a lot, and I still think that's one of the stronger tier 7 tanks in the game, just with a huge old slab of hit points. And I'm just trying to depress enough, and there you go, right into the SU-130PM, but not enough to be able to put the second one in. And I'm going to wait for the reload before I fire, so I have 3 shells to take a chance to see if we can shut the ATA out. But we've bounced the second, and the third bounces as well. We see the shell actually ricochet off and hit the rock behind the 88. An absolute disaster there for us that we're unable to shut them down, because now we've got the ultra slow reload that you will have when you're unloading in the Pantera. But actually, I should say that the reload of the Pantera doesn't get too bad for the final shell. It's 11 seconds, which I believe is actually better than the reload of the Progetto 46. Funnily, they have the same reload when they're firing just a shell at a time and never going deep into the magazine. But as soon as you want to fire that second shell off in the Progetto 46, you can actually reload quicker in that tank, so it's better for a 2-round burst. Whereas the Pantera, it definitely feels like it's better for either firing out your entire magazine and then firing the tank dry, as I would like to say, or alternatively, just firing those single shots at long range where you know you're going to have, oh, am I going to go around this corner? I'm thinking, yeah, probably not, don't want to throw this game quite like that. And I'll let the IS deal with him instead. And it looks like the Panther M10 drowns himself on the enemy team. What a little coward. He probably didn't want to go and feed me my Top Gun, right? Well, that's very unfair of him. And so once you start to master the auto reloading mechanic, the Pantera, even on a free-to-play account, truly becomes something special. And with games like these, with the 100 or more rounds that I played in the Pantera, I was able to win 2/3 of them solo. And while this is likely to be the first Italian auto reloader you play, unless you decide to buy the Progetto 46, and there is a steep learning curve with the Italian auto reloading tanks, if you manage to master it, this is by far one of the best tanks you could possibly unlock on a plays for free account. And as I mentioned, if you're playing frontline at the moment, you're in absolute despair at the amount of premium tanks that you're having to deal with and also having to compete with on your own team, then this tank might level the playing field for you a little bit. Anyway, that's it for today, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, 827 of you have voted, and the majority want to see me play Japanese medium tanks. So come along right now as I'm going to showcase the entirety of the SDB1, so you can find out if it's a line that's worth grinding, especially if you don't want to play Japanese heavy tanks, or maybe if you already have the vehicles, pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.